Hi, and welcome to episode 44 of Empathic Action. Today I'm joined by Jennifer Lonergan, who is the founder and executive director of Artistry Suit. We've spent a lot of time over the last few episodes talking about extending our empathic proclivity and empathic capacities across the globe to people and places where we'll never visit necessarily, or people will never meet. And Jennifer does a lot of work internationally, so that's why I thought it would be great to have her. Thanks for joining us, Jennifer.
Well, thank you so much.
Could you tell us what Artistry Suit does?
Yeah, so Artistry Suit is a registered Canadian charity. We're working with women in developing countries and supporting building their capacity and with a view to their empowerment, because what we really want to see is women at the table in decision-making capacities everywhere that decisions are being made.
Yeah, so you run entrepreneurship training programming in how many countries?
Right. So right now we're working in 2 countries, Ecuador and Vietnam, and we are working with, we run entrepreneurship. So we're helping women to build their capacity to leverage whatever skills they already have so that they can create revenue streams for themselves, because we believe that that's the way that women begin to kind of have influence over their circumstances and their communities. So we do leadership programs and entrepreneurship programs and yeah.
And I'll include the link where people can check out your TED Talk so that they can learn a little bit more about the amazing work you do. But given that we're in COVID-19 pandemic, could you speak to how the women in your organization are being impacted differently?
I think most places in the world have some version of what we are living with here, which, and their sort of movements and activities are restricted, and people are living with quite a lot of fear about what the potential is for harm. So what that translates into in the context that we work in is very often that women just simply don't have a way of gaining any revenue. So for women who are working like day to day, either selling their skills or selling a product that they make or selling food, it just means that they're not, if they're restricted and they can't go out, well, then that means they can't go make any kind of living, So in many ways, not entirely dissimilar to what we're living with too. Like, but the problem is that they're living much more precariously in general than many of us. I mean, we're kind of privileged, really. Most of the women we work with don't have savings. In fact, I would say, kind of 0 of the women we work with before they do our training programs come in to have any savings. And one of the things we talk about is savings. That's really like a way to get out of poverty. But they're not dealing with any kind of ability to like sort of manage this kind of situation or earn revenue during it. So it means that in many cases, women and their families, of course, are going without food, certainly without any kind of, medicine. If anyone needs to see a doctor, they can't see doctors either, but they're often living in much more difficult circumstances, how, in terms of housing, most don't have heat. They may not have running water. So there's just the kinds of things that would be difficult if you were sick or if you didn't have access to medicine or any kind of health, that what that looks like. And then there's, just the kind of problem of not being able to feed your family, which is kind of significant.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's compounded hardship. And then add to that, you and I have had conversations about the correlation between women's empowerment and domestic violence in the home. And there's so much research that's showing that domestic violence is on the rise as a result of COVID-19. So are you getting any news about that from the women?
Well, we're not getting that news, but we don't need to get the news to know that it's happening. I think that's one of the really sad, unfortunate things of the kind of the way that we're counting impact in the current situation, is that we're not counting things that are hard to count. One of the things that compounds domestic violence in any context, of course, income problems is one of them. So there's just very clear economic problems, but also isolation is a thing that really is likely to lead to increased domestic violence. And that's a huge problem. No, we're not going to hear about these things until it's too late.
So if anybody's watching and wants to step up to support Artistry Sud, what could they do, and how would their support be leveraged?
Certainly the need is dire. And you know, I mean, just for the reasons I've kind of said, like people, it's excruciating. People can't feed their families. So, I mean, the need, once we and the women that we work with are able to be back out in the marketplace, there's going to be a lot of need. They're going to, you know, they're still going to have the same kind of challenges that they've faced, but just that much more extreme. I would encourage people not to forget that stuff is still happening out there, and that it's, however hard this is on us, it's just that much harder on people who can't even imagine how to get food on the table on a good day.
Great message. Thank you for speaking on behalf of those who might not have a voice right now. Jennifer, really appreciate all of the effort and time and energy you put into this work. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.